Ever feel a chill crawl up your spine, like the air knows something you don't? Tonight, we're stepping into shadows with 15 true stories that cling like damp fog. These aren't campfire tales. They're real moments that left hearts racing, from quiet suburbs to forgotten roads. Imagine a stranger's smile turning wrong, or eyes outside your window that aren't human. From a woman tasting danger in a stranger's drink, to a man finding bones that spell his name. Each story pulls you deeper, daring you to look closer. What hums in empty houses? Why do some whispers feel too personal? These accounts will grip you, twist your thoughts, and leave you checking the dark. So settle in, dim the lights, and let's unravel the first tale, where a single choice sparks a nightmare you can't unsee. Sarah's shoes hit the trail, steady, until a carved symbol stopped her cold, bleeding sap like a warning. She was a biologist, running through Washington's Olympic forest, her breath sinking with the rhythm of ancient trees. At 36, Sarah knew these woods, moss thick as blankets, air wet with secrets. But today, the forest felt off, its silence too heavy, like it held a grudge. She'd come to outrun grief, the kind that stuck since her brother Evan's death 2 years ago. His car lost to a cliff on Route 101. No explanation, no closure. Running was her reset, her way to drown the ache. But the trail today wasn't cooperating. The Olympic forest sprawled endless, a maze of cedar and fern, fog weaving through like a living thing. Sarah's ponytail swung, her green jacket catching on thorns, but she kept pace, eyes on the dirt path winding deeper. She'd mapped this route 100 times, 6 miles, loop back to the ranger station, but the air today was wrong, thick, pressing her lungs. A crow cawed once, sharp, then nothing. No squirrels, no wind, just her footsteps and the pulse in her ears. An hour in, a low growl rumbled, not bear or cougar, but deeper, wrong. It wasn't sound alone. It vibrated her bones, shook the ground, made her stumble. Sarah froze, breath clouding in the chill, scanning the pines. Nothing moved, no glint of eyes, no snap of twigs, just fog curling tighter like fingers closing. Her biologist's brain kicked in. Bears don't growl like that. Cougars hiss. Wolves are rare here. Imagination, she muttered, but her voice sounded thin, eaten by the mist. She adjusted her earbuds. Music dead, battery drained despite a full charge at the trailhead. Her watch flickered. 10:32 a.m., then 3:17, then blank. Great, she sighed, shaking it. But the forest answered with that symbol, a cedar, gnarled and ancient, its bark carved with a spiral, fresh, sap red as blood, dripping slow. Sarah stepped closer, heart tripping, and touched it. The tree pulsed, warm, like a heartbeat under her fingers. She yanked her hand back, sap sticky, smelling of iron and rot. What the hell? Her whisper hung, unanswered, but the fog seemed to listen, swirling closer. She backed up, eyes locked on the spiral, its lines twisting under her gaze, not random but deliberate, like a word she couldn't read. Sarah's skin crawled, her training useless. Trees don't bleed, don't pulse, don't watch. She turned, ready to run, but the trail felt different, narrower, branches leaning in, scratching her arms like warnings. Ben caught up, panting, his ranger vest bright against the gloom. "Sarah, you good?" His voice was light, teasing, but his eyes flicked. To the tree uneasy. At 40, Ben was all facts and flannel. A park ranger who trusted maps over myths, skeptical of anything not in a field guide. He'd joined her run to check traps, humor her forest vibes. "Just a prank," he said, brushing the carving, but his fingers came away sticky and he wiped them fast on his jeans like it burned. "Prank?" Sarah's laugh was sharp. "In the middle of nowhere?" She pointed at the sap, pooling now, a small stream curling toward her shoe. Ben shrugged, but his jaw tightened, and he glanced back, like the forest was eavesdropping. "Kids, maybe," he muttered, but his hand hovered near his radio, static hissing when he tried it. Dead, like her watch, her phone. They kept running, Sarah leading, her pace uneven, mind racing. The trail twisted, steeper than she remembered, roots tripping her like hands. Ben stayed close, his breaths loud. No more jokes. Another growl came, louder, rolling from the earth, not behind but everywhere, shaking pebbles loose. Sarah's chest tightened. This wasn't animal, wasn't natural. "Ben, you felt that?" she asked, voice low. "Yeah." His eyes darted, no ranger calm now. Not a bear. He didn't say more, didn't need to. The forest was speaking and they were caught in its throat. The fog thickened, blotting the sun, and Sarah's flashlight, clipped to her pack, flickered on its own. Beam weak, catching another spiral on a rock, sap glistening, fresh. Her stomach dropped. 2 carvings, miles apart. No way kids did this. "Dia," hum started then, faint, layered, like voices chanting far off. It wasn't music but a presence, echoing through the trees, pulling at her mind. Sarah stopped, ears straining. Not English, not anything she knew, but familiar, like a dream half forgotten. Ben grabbed her arm, pointing ahead. A clearing, unnatural, ringed by stones each etched with that spiral, sap pooling in the dirt like an altar. "We're turning back," he said, voice shaking, but the trail behind was gone, swallowed by fog, leaving only forward, deeper, where the forest waited, its growl a promise of what was to come. Sarah's heart pounded, her scientist's logic fraying. She'd studied ecosystems, tracked wolves, dissected roots, but nothing explained this. Carvings that bled, growls that weren't, a forest that moved. Evan's face flashed. His laugh, his hikes with her, his car found empty. No body, no why. She'd run here to escape that mystery, but this felt tied, like the forest knew her loss, her questions, and answered with its own. Ben's radio crackled once, a word, run, then died. They didn't speak, didn't need to. The hum grew, weaving through the fog, and Sarah swore she saw shapes, tall, thin, flickering between trunks, gone when she blinked. Her flashlight caught a leaf, curled on the path, not fallen, but placed, its veins forming that spiral again, deliberate, mocking. "Ben," she whispered, "this isn't random." "No shit," he hissed, eyes wide. No ranger left, just fear. The ground pulsed again. Not a growl now, but a step, heavy, close, shaking, her bones. Sarah grabbed his sleeve, pulling him toward the clearing, not thinking, just moving. The forest's chant louder, its shadows closing, and somewhere in the mist, something ancient woke, knowing her name. The fog clung to Sarah's skin, cold, as a promise, as she and Ben edged into the clearing, stones circling them like silent judges. The chanting started then, faint but clear, like a Latin choir singing through the trees. No source, just echoes. It wasn't music. It was weight. Each note pressing her chest, slowing her steps. Sarah's mind raced, her biologist training grasping for logic. Sound carries in fog, maybe a church nearby. But no church stood in these wilds, and the words weren't holy. Sanctus, Maledictus. She caught. Her college Latin, rusty, but enough to know it spoke of curses, not salvation. Ben's flashlight swept the stones, his face pale, ranger bravado gone. "Sarah, what is that?" His voice cracked low like he didn't want the forest to hear. She didn't answer, couldn't. Her ears strained, tracing the chant, its rhythm off, not human, too layered, like voices stacked across centuries. The fog pulsed with it, glowing faintly, not white but green, sickly, curling around the stones. Sarah's stomach twisted. This wasn't natural, wasn't hers to catalog. They stepped closer, the ground soft, sinking under their weight, like it breathed. The stones weren't random, each bore that spiral, carved deep, some crusted with dried sap, others fresh, weeping red. Sarah knelt, fingers hovering, not touching, her scientist's caution screaming, "Don't." Ben grabbed her shoulder. "Don't mess with it," he hissed, eyes darting like he felt it too. The forest watching, waiting, its chant a lure. She couldn't pinpoint the sound, no matter how hard she tried, like it came from the air itself. Sarah stood, brushing dirt, but her hand came away dark, not soil but ash, fine and warm, smelling of bone. She wiped it fast, heart hammering, and pointed her flashlight beyond the circle. The beam caught something, a scrap of paper, yellowed, half buried, its edges charred. She dug it free, Ben hovering, his breath loud. The paper held words, scrawled in ink, Latin again, Domus Silvae, Vocat. Her translation stumbled, House of the Forest it calls. But the words burned her mind, heavy like they belonged here, not her. "Sarah, we gotta go," Ben said, voice tight, but the chant swelled, drowning him. Now clear, a chorus of dozens, hundreds, singing sanguis. Umbra. Blood and shadow. Sarah's knees shook. She'd studied forests, not folklore, but this felt old. Older than the trees, older than reason. The fog moved, not drifting but flowing, forming shapes, arms, eyes, gone fast, leaving her gasping. Ben saw it too, his flashlight shaking, beam catching a tree beyond the circle, its bark split, revealing not wood but bone, white, polished, human. "No way," Ben whispered, backing up, but the ground pulsed again. Not a growl now, but a thud, like steps, heavy, circling. Sarah's flashlight died, plunging them into green-tinted dark, the chant louder, words shifting. "The night, come, come." She grabbed Ben's arm, pulling him from the circle, but the stones seemed closer, tighter, like a trap snapping, shut. Her watch buzzed, screen alive, showing not time but symbols. Spiral spinning, then black. They ran, not back, but forward. The trail gone, only fog and trees, branches clawing, roots rising. Sarah's lungs burned, her mind splitting. Logic versus fear, science versus this. Evan's voice echoed, unbidden. "You always run, sis, but where to?" His laugh from their last hike, months before he vanished. She'd searched for him here, years ago, found nothing but silence. But now the forest answered, its chant a mirror to her grief, her questions. Ben stumbled, cursing, his flashlight, catching a new mark, a circle of bones, small animal, arranged like a star, spirals etched on each. "This is fucked," he said. No ranger left, just a man scared to his core. Sarah nodded, throat tight, but she saw more. Saplings around the bones, bent, not by wind, but force, forming arches, like doorways to nowhere. The chant followed, relentless now inside her head, singing her name, Sarah the night. They pushed on, fog choking, the air thick with rot and iron. Sarah's pack snagged, ripping, spilling her notebook. Pages fluttered, filled not with her notes but spirals, drawn in ink she didn't own. "Ben, look," she gasped. But he was ahead, flashlight gone, his voice faint, calling her. She ran to catch him, the chant roaring, and found him at another circle. Larger, stones taller, sap pooling in a trench, red and warm, steaming in the cold. "We're looping," Ben said, eyes wild. "This is the same place." But it wasn't. New stones, new bones. A skull this time, not animal. Its eye sockets carved with spirals, staring. Sarah's scream stuck, her mind clawing for reason, but the forest laughed, its chant a blade, cutting her open, showing her Evan's face, not dead but here, in the fog, beckoning. Sarah's flashlight trembled, its beam swallowed by fog, but the forest answered with shadows that moved when it shouldn't. She felt uneasy, unable to find where the sounds came from. Like the forest itself was alive, the chanting roared now, words sharp. Dominus Infernus, Lord of the Depths, and the ground pulsed, not an earthquake but a heartbeat, steady, ancient, shaking dirt loose around her feet. Ben's face was ash, his ranger calm shattered. "Sarah, we're not alone," he whispered, clutching a knife from his pack. "Useless against this." She nodded, throat dry, her scientist's mind fraying. Sound waves don't pulse earth, don't carve bone. The fog thickened, green and heavy, forming faces, not human, not animal, eyes glinting, dissolving fast. Sarah's breath hitched. She'd seen Evan's face last night in a dream, standing in this forest, smiling. But his eyes were wrong, too bright, like the ones watching now. They moved, half running, the chant chasing, its rhythm a drum in her skull. A tree loomed, its bark split, revealing a face. Wood, but alive, mouth open, chanting with the choir, sanguis, venit. Sarah screamed, stumbling back, Ben catching her, his knife raised, slashing air. The face vanished, bark smooth. Again, but the tree bled, sap red pooling at their feet, steaming. "This isn't real," Ben gasped, but his voice shook, no conviction left. The trail twisted, leading to a gully, unnatural, lined with roots that writhed, not growing but reaching. Sarah's flashlight caught a figure, tall, cloaked in fog, standing across the gully, still, watching. She blinked and it was gone, but her skin burned, like it saw her soul. "Ben, you saw that?" she asked, voice cracking. He nodded, knife trembling. No words, just fear. She began to suspect the forest held something unnatural, maybe tied to an old ritual. Her mind grasped at history, Olympics tribes, their stories of spirits, not gods but watchers, tied to blood, to offerings. She dismissed them, science her shield, but now they whispered, louder than her logic. The chant shifted, umbra eterna, eternal shadow, and the air grew cold, her breath frosting, though it was June. They climbed the gully, roots snapping at their ankles, and found a platform, flat, carved into the earth, its edges lined with stones, spirals glowing faintly. Not sap now, but light, pulsing with the chant. Sarah's notebook, retrieved from the last circle, burned in her pack, heavy like it wanted out. She pulled it, pages flipping on their own, showing not her sketches but maps. Trails she'd never run, leading here to this place, marked Domus. Ben's knife dropped, his hands shaking. "Sarah, this is a shrine," he said, voice hollow. Eyes on the platform where bones lay, not scattered but arranged, ribs forming spirals, Skulls stacked, human, their sockets glowing green. The chant screamed, "Vocat, Vocat, it calls," and the fog parted, revealing not sky but darkness, a void above the platform, sucking light, air, hope. Sarah's watch screamed, numbers gone, screen cracked, showing Evan's face, not smiling but chanting, his voice in the choir, calling her. She dropped it, backing away. But the platform pulsed, ground splitting, revealing more bones, older, deeper, etched with words she couldn't read but felt. Mine. Ben grabbed her, pulling her from the edge, but the void grew, its edges sharp, whispering her name, not Evan's voice but older, hungrier. They ran, fog choking, the chant a tide, drowning her thoughts. Sarah's legs burned, her mind splitting. Evan, the forest, the spirals, all one, all her. She saw him again, not a dream, but here, in the trees, his jacket torn, his eyes red, pointing deeper. Ben, he's here, she cried, but Ben didn't answer, his face blank like he saw something else, someone else calling him. The forest screamed, a sound no throat could make, and Sarah's knees buckled as the chanting peaked, a blade in her skull. She was sure now, the forest held something supernatural, tied to an ancient ritual, alive and angry. The ground split wider, not earth but flesh, revealing bones, small, white, not human, circled by stones, spirals glowing red, not light, but fire, burning without heat. Ben's scream tore her focus. He was at the platform's edge, knife gone, staring into the void, its darkness not empty but moving, limbs, eyes, teeth, forming, unforming. "Sarah, it's here," he yelled, voice raw, and she saw it too. A shape, not one but many, tall as trees, cloaked in fog, its edges sharp, cutting the air, chanting her name, Sarah Sanguis Venite. Her flashlight died, but the stones glowed, their spirals spinning, pulling her eyes, her mind, like a tide. She grabbed Ben, yanking him back, but the ground shook. Steps now, not one but hundreds, circling, closing. The void pulsed, spitting ash, and Sarah's notebook fell, pages burning, not fire but cold, etching spirals into the dirt, writing, Domus Mia, my house. Evan's face flashed, not memory but here, in the void, his eyes red, his mouth open, chanting with the choir, not her brother but something wearing him, smiling. "No!" Sarah screamed, lunging forward, but Ben held her, his arms shaking, his breath sobbing. The shape stepped closer, not walking but gliding, its form splitting, claws, horns, faces, all hers, all Evan's, all wrong. The chant roared, sacrificium, and the bones rose, not falling but floating, forming a cage around the platform, ribs locking, skulls singing. Sarah's watch burned her wrist, screen alive, showing not time, but blood, dripping, pooling, hers. She tore it off, but the void laughed, its voice hers. Evan's, Ben's, all one, saying you came. They ran, but the forest fought, roots tripping, branches clawing, fog choking. Sarah's pack split, spilling gear, her knife sinking into dirt that drank it, red, alive. Ben stumbled, his face blank, eyes red, not his, chanting Venite. She pulled him, screaming his name, and he blinked, human again, but the shape followed, its steps shaking earth, its claws carving spirals into trees, marking their path. Sarah's lungs burned as she dragged Ben through the fog. The chanting, a tide, no longer Latin but raw, unformed, her name in every note. They ran from the forest, desperate, but the feeling of being watched never left. The trail reappeared, impossibly, guiding them to the car. But the fog clung, whispering stay. Its voice Evans, not dead but here, calling her back. Ben stumbled, gasping, his eyes human but haunted. Sarah, what was that? His voice broke. No ranger left, just fear. She didn't answer. Her mind was on Evan, the forest, the spirals all tied, all her fault. They reached the car, doors locked, keys shaking in her hand. But the fog pressed, forming faces. Evan's, hers, others, older, eyeless, smiling. They drove, tires screaming, forest fading, but the chant followed, faint in the engine's hum. The radio's static. Sarah's arm bled, scratched by branches, but the cuts weren't random. Spirals, faint under her skin, glowing green in the dark. Ben saw it, swearing, and floored the gas. Portland's lights distant, too far. At a diner, miles away, Sarah searched. Olympics history, tribes, vanishings. Stories surfaced. Watchers, not gods, tied to blood, to forests that kept what they took. Evan's crash wasn't random, she knew now. His hikes, his notes, spirals she'd ignored, found. In his room, burned after his death, the forest had him, and now it wanted her. Sarah's apartment felt too small. Portland's noise no shield against the forest's echo. The sense of being followed stayed, a weight she couldn't shake, like eyes in every shadow. She didn't run anymore. Her shoes sat dusty, the trail a memory she couldn't touch. Ben was gone, not dead but distant. His text stopped, his voice haunted when she called, like he carried the forest too. Her arm healed, but the spirals lingered, faint scars, glowing green under moonlight. She searched, nights blurring, tribal, records, vanishings, rituals older than names, tied to blood, to watchers who never slept. Evan's notes, half burned, surfaced in her dreams, spirals circling her name, his, theirs. The forest wasn't done. It called, faint in her sinks drip, her windows creak, her breath. She burned her maps, her gear, but the chant followed, soft in her pulse, singing Venit. Her mirror fogged, not steam but breath, showing not her face but his. Evans, smiling, eyes red, hand raised, beckoning. Sarah didn't scream. She watched, knowing he wasn't gone, wasn't hers, but the forest's, and it wanted her to join him. What do you do when the forest knows your name, and running only brings you closer? The truck's engine growled as we bounced along a dirt road, deep into South Dakota's Black Hills, the sun dipping low. At 25, I joined my cousins, Jake and Matt, for a weekend of target shooting, a tradition to blow off steam. We were out in the woods in South Dakota, shooting guns for fun. The pines loomed thick, their shadows swallowing the trail, and a chill hung in the air, sharper than November warranted. Something about those woods felt off, like we weren't alone. We set up near a clearing, cans lined on stumps, rifles ready. Laughter echoed, but it died fast when a twig snapped, too heavy for a deer. We heard something moving, but didn't see anything at first. I scanned the trees, my breath catching as the wind dropped, silence pressing in like a weight. My flashlight caught nothing, yet the hairs on my neck stood. Jake joked about bears, but his eyes darted, uneasy. The forest wasn't just quiet, it was holding its breath, watching us. This wasn't our playground. We'd stumbled into something else's domain. Shots rang out, cans spinning, but the fun soured. Then we saw it. A tall, skinny thing with long hair standing way off in the trees. It loomed, maybe 8 feet, gaunt as bone, its hair matted, trailing like moss. It didn't move, just stared at us, and it freaked us out. My rifle felt heavy, useless, as its eyes, glinting, too large, locked on me, not blinking. The air grew sour, like wet earth and rot, clogging my throat. Matt whispered to run, but my legs froze, pinned by that gaze. The creature's silhouette flickered, as if half there, edges blurring into the dusk. We couldn't tell what it was, but it wasn't human. Twigs cracked around us, not from it but others unseen, circling the clearing. My flashlight trembled, its beam catching only pines, yet shadows twisted, stretching wrong. Jake's voice broke, urging us to pack, but the creature tilted its head, slow, deliberate, like it heard him. This wasn't a bear or a prank. It was something ancient, and we were in its sights. We grabbed our gear, hearts pounding, but the forest turned against us. That thing started moving toward us, slow at first, then faster. Its limbs jerked, too long, bending wrong, hair swaying like a curtain. We ran, but it was like the woods were helping it. Paths twisted, leading back to the clearing, trees seeming to lean, blocking our way. My lungs burned, boots slipping on, moss that felt alive, pulsing underfoot. The creature's steps echoed, not behind but everywhere, a rhythm that shook the ground. It wasn't just one, it felt like more were out there. Shadows darted, tall and thin, weaving through pines. There, glints matching its eyes. My flashlight died, plunging us into dusk's grip, but its hair glowed faintly, a sickly white, tracking us. Jake tripped, his rifle skittering, and I yanked him up, feeling a cold brush, fingers maybe, graze my back. The air hummed, low and wrong, whispering our names in a voice like dry leaves. We weren't escaping. The woods were its trap, and we were the prey. Dawn broke, weak and cold. The creature stopped, vanishing into the trees as light crept in. We got out, made it back to the truck, but it didn't feel safe. We sped away, tires spitting gravel, the forest's weight lingering in our chests. That thing changed us. We don't talk about it much. I avoid woods now, sticking to open fields. But my dreams replay its eyes, glinting, waiting. I dug into local lore, tales of watchers, gaunt beings tied to these hills, guarding something older than the land. They said it's still out, there, waiting for others. Hunters' blogs mentioned tracks too large, hair snagged on branches, never explained. I still feel it sometimes, like it's watching me. My rifle, left behind, turned up at my door weeks later. Barrel scratched with symbols, jagged, like its stare. At night, twigs snap outside my window, faint, deliberate, and my flashlight catches nothing but pines. I'll never go back. But it knows where I am. The hills are far, but their gaze follows, patient, certain I'm not free. The plane's hum faded as I stepped onto the tarmac, sweat already beating under the Manaus sun. At 21, I'd come to Brazil as an exchange student, eager for anthropology credits and Amazon adventures. I was studying abroad in South America, excited to explore the jungle. My host university arranged a guided trek, but I craved something rawer, unscripted. Something about the Amazon felt alive, like it was watching me. The city's edge gave way to green, endless and thick, where the air buzzed with insects and secrets. At a riverside market I met him, a man with weathered skin and eyes too sharp, offering a real tour, off the maps. I met a guy who said he'd show me the real Amazon. His smile was thin, promising hidden paths, and against my gut I agreed, drawn by the forest's pull. We set out at dawn, his canoe slicing the river's black mirror. It felt wrong the deeper we went, like I was being led somewhere bad. The canopy closed above, Light dimming and the water's ripple carried a hum. Not frogs, but something older, stirring. My backpack felt heavier. My phone useless. Signal gone. His paddle dipped silently, but his gaze flicked to me, calculating. This wasn't a tour. I'd followed a stranger, and the jungle knew. The canoe stopped at a muddy bank, vines tangling like veins. He took me deeper into the forest, away from any trails. His name, muttered once, Raoul, felt like a lie, his steps too sure for a guide. I started to feel like I was in danger, like he wasn't what he seemed. The trees pressed closer, their roots pulsing faintly, and the air grew sour, thick with decay. My boots sank, each step harder, as if the ground resisted. Raoul pointed to a path barely there, marked by stones carved with faded glyphs. The jungle was too quiet, like it was holding its breath. No birds, no wind, just his voice, low, urging me on, promising sights. My flashlight flickered, its beam catching eyes. Small, glinting, gone fast, but not animals too deliberate. Shadows moved, not ours, weaving between trunks, and my map, checked in panic, showed nothing but blank folds. Raoul's smile tightened, his hand brushing a knife at his belt, casual but clear. The hum returned, now a drone vibrating my bones, whispering not words but intent. I was no explorer. I was prey, and the forest was his ally. Night fell, a suffocating blanket. He led me to a clearing, and I knew something was wrong. A circle of stones stood, blackened, like an altar, their glyphs glowing faintly under moss. It was like he was taking me to something, not showing me. Raoul stopped, his eyes gleaming, no longer hiding his intent. I realized he was leading me into a trap. My heart roared, legs itching to bolt, but the jungle tightened. Vines shifting, paths gone, air heavy with that drone, now a growl. He spoke, voice soft, about offerings, his knife out, reflecting starlight. I ran, but the jungle seemed to fight me. Branches snagged my arms, roots tripped me, and the shadows, those eyes, followed. Not Raoul's but others, circling, their forms blurred but tall, hungry. My flashlight died, but the stone's glow pulsed, guiding me back like a leash. I tripped, landing hard, my hand grazing a bone, human, old, half-buried. The drone became voices, chanting my name. Not Raoul's doing, but the forest's, ancient, ravenous. I wasn't lost. I was chosen, and Raoul was the shepherd. I bolted blind, tearing through vines, guided by panic. I got away, found a river, and made it back to safety. Dawn's light broke, the drone fading, and I stumbled to a village, half dead, clothes ripped. That night changed me. I don't trust strangers anymore. Raoul was gone, no trace, but his smile haunts me, sharp in dreams. Where the jungle calls, I flew home weeks later, back to concrete and noise, yet the forest lingers. I researched. Tribes vanished near that river. Their stories of gifts to the land never returned. They said something lives there, something that takes. Locals, avoid that stretch, citing lights, bones, names whispered in sleep. I still hear it sometimes, like it's calling me back. My backpack left behind arrived at my dorm, reeking of decay, its straps carved with glyphs. I'll never go back, but it knows where I am. At night, my window rattles, not wind but intent, and my dreams trace those stones, glowing, waiting. The Amazon's far, but its hunger follows, patient, certain I'm marked. Rain streaked the windows of my apartment, a cozy third-floor nook in a quiet Chicago suburb. At 27, I'd settled into a routine of long workdays and late dinners, often too tired to cook. I was hungry one night and ordered food through Uber Eats. Scrolling the app, I picked a burger joint, The order confirmed with a cheery ping. Something felt off when I placed the order, like a bad vibe. The clock ticked past midnight, the storm muffling the world outside, leaving only the hum of my fridge and the occasional car hissing by. The app showed the driver, listed as Alex, en route, his icon creeping along digital streets. The delivery was supposed to be simple, just leave the food at the door. I lounged on the couch, half watching a true crime show, when my phone buzzed, not with a delivery alert, but a text from an unknown number. Look outside. My stomach twisted. The app hadn't updated, still showing Alex 10 minutes away. I peeked through the blinds, heart thudding, but saw only rain-slicked pavement and shadows. The air grew heavy, like the storm carried a weight, and my lamp flickered, just once, casting jagged shapes across the walls. I laughed it off, overtired, paranoid, but my fingers hovered over 911, instinct screaming that this wasn't just a late burger. Someone, or something, was already too close. The app pinged, food delivered, but no bag waited outside my door when I checked the peephole. Then someone knocked, loud, not normal. The sound was sharp, deliberate, rattling the frame, not the casual tap of a driver. It was the driver, but he wasn't leaving, just standing there. I froze, breath shallow, as my phone buzzed again. Opened the door. The number wasn't Uber's, and the app showed Alex gone. His icon vanished. My hallway camera, a cheap setup, flickered to static, but not before catching a figure. Tall, hooded, face obscured, lingering too long. I backed away, heart hammering, as the knocks grew slower, heavier, like a countdown. Something about him felt wrong, like he wasn't just a guy. The air turned sour, not food, but something metallic, seeping under the door. My lights dimmed, bulbs humming, and the true crime show cut to white noise, the TV screen reflecting not me but a shadow moving when I didn't. I texted a friend, fingers fumbling, but the message failed, my Wi-Fi dead. The knock stopped, silence worse, and I heard it. A low scrape like nails on wood circling my door. This wasn't a delivery glitch. He wasn't here for tips. He wanted in, and I was alone with his intent. I grabbed a kitchen knife. It's weight cold but steadying. He started talking through the door, saying weird stuff, threatening me. His voice was low, not angry but wrong, clipped, like he mimicked speech, saying my name, my job, things no driver could know. It was like he knew too much, like he'd been watching me. My locks held, but the door creaked, as if pushed, and the metallic scent sharpened, choking my throat. The power flickered, plunging the apartment into dark, save for my phone's glow, now showing texts. I see you. Footsteps paced outside, not leaving, and my neighbor's dog, usually quiet, howled, then went silent. I was scared he'd get in. It felt so real. I barricaded the door with a chair, hands shaking, but the walls seemed to pulse, the air thick with his presence. My phone died, uncharged, and the scrape returned, now above, like he climbed the building. A shadow passed my window, too tall, too thin, rain blurring its edges. I whispered a prayer, any words, as the voice laughed, soft, inside the room now, not the door. This wasn't just a man. Something wore his shape, and it wasn't leaving without me. Dawn broke, rain easing, and the knock stopped. I called the cops, but he was gone when they got there. No bag, no trace, just my door scratched, faint marks like glyphs, not random. That night changed me. I don't order food anymore. I moved to a high-rise, cameras everywhere, but sleep comes hard. My dreams replaying his voice, now a hum, not human. Uber's records showed no Alex, no trip logged, like it never happened. I dug online. Others reported drivers who weren't. Figures at doors, knowing too much, vanishing. They said something uses apps, something that hunts. Local forums whispered of runners, not men but lures tied to old debts unpaid by this land. I still feel it sometimes, like it's waiting for me. My new place's lights flicker, just once, and my mailbox held a receipt. My order. But the address was a vacant lot, not mine. I'll never open my door at night again. But it knows where I am. The city's loud, but at night a knock echoes faint, patient, and I fear it's not done claiming me. Riley's camera hummed, catching dust in the Savannah house until a whisper froze her lens. Not hers. Not Ava's. She was a YouTuber, sneaking into an abandoned mansion off Abercorn Street to film for her ghost hunting channel. At 27, Riley lived for the thrill. Creaky floors, broken windows, stories of the dead. But her views were tanking, and this house, whispered about as cursed, was her shot at a comeback. The air was thick, humid, smelling of mildew and something sharper, like grief gone sour. Halfway through the foyer, her camera caught a misty shadow, fleeting, sliding past a cracked mirror. Riley paused, heart kicking, zooming in. No dust, no trick, just a shape, vague, human, gone. Ava, you see that? She hissed, voice low, not wanting to scare her friend. Ava, 25, was new to this, tagging along for content, her phone light shaking. Nothing, Ava said, too fast, eyes wide, fixed on the mirror, now empty, but the glass seemed to ripple. Not right. The house groaned, settling, or so Riley told herself, but her skin prickled and her breath fogged, odd for June's heat. The air turned cold, sharp, like stepping into a freezer, no draft to blame. She panned her camera, catching cobwebs, a chandelier dangling like bones, but the whisper came again, stay, soft, childlike, from nowhere. Ava grabbed her arm. Riley, that's not us, she whispered, her light catching a staircase, its banister carved with faces, worn, watching. Riley forced a grin, channel mode on. Just vibes, guys, she said to her future audience, but her voice wavered, and the camera's battery dropped, 80% to 20% in seconds. Ava's phone buzzed, screen glitching, showing not their faces but static, then a shadow, low, moving. We're good, Riley lied, stepping deeper, floorboards creaking, each step heavier, like the house knew her name, her fears, and wanted her closer. Riley's boots crunched glass as she climbed the staircase, camera steady, heart not. The cold deepened, biting her fingers, though the windows were boarded. No breeze. Ava trailed, her phone light flickering, catching, dust that danced, not falling, forming shapes, arms, eyes gone fast. Riley, this is wrong, Ava whispered, voice tight. But Riley pushed on, needing the footage, the views, the proof she wasn't fading. The second floor stretched, a hallway, of locked doors, wallpaper peeling like skin. Riley's camera hummed, lens fogging, not humidity but breath, clouding her view. She wiped it, pulse racing, and panned. A door at the end creaked open, slow, no touch, revealing darkness, thick, alive. Checking the footage later, Riley would see the shadow again, clearer. A child's silhouette standing still, staring. Now, she saw nothing. But the air stank, not mildew, but rot, sweet and sick, coiling in her throat. A book fell, heavy, from a shelf she hadn't touched, pages flipping, to a photo, black and white, a family, faces scratched out except a girl, eyes wide, too big. Ava gasped, dropping her phone, its light dead. Riley, we're done, let's go, she hissed, but Riley knelt, Camera on the photo, her hand shaking. The girl's dress, white, torn, matched the shadow's shape, and the cold surged, wrapping her whispering mind. Riley stood, camera catching a mirror, cracked, its pieces reflecting not them but a room, smaller, brighter, a crib, empty, rocking. "Ava," she whispered. But Ava was at the door, yanking it, stuck, though it opened moments ago. The whisper grew, "Stay, stay," and the floor tilted, not real but felt, like the house shifted, claiming them. Riley's camera beeped, low battery, but kept rolling, lens fixed on the mirror, now showing the girl, not reflected but standing behind them. Real. The girl's shadow moved, not on the mirror, but closer, her breath cold on Riley's neck. Riley's scream stuck, her camera shaking as the shadow grew solid, its eyes locked on her, not Ava. The house roared, windows rattling, though boarded, and the cold turned brutal, ice in her veins, her breath frost. Ava pounded the door, sobbing, but it held, wood pulsing like a heart. Riley spun, camera catching the girl, white dress, ripped, face pale, eyes black, not empty, but full, knowing. "Stay," she said, voice not a child's, old, layered, cutting Riley's skin. The floor cracked, dust rising, forming spirals, and a toy, a doll, eyeless, rolled from the dark, stopping at Riley's feet, its arm pointing up to a trap door. Creaking open, stairs descending, the footage would show more, her shadow stretching, touching Riley's, merging, while Ava's stayed untouched. Now Riley backed away, camera slipping, but it filmed on, lens fixed on the girl, now 2, 3, shadows splitting, circling. Ava screamed, "Riley, run!" But the hallway shrank, doors slamming, locking, trapping them with her, them, it. A journal slid from nowhere, pages tearing, words bleeding. She waits, she takes, and Riley's camera caught her name, written, not typed, in ink, red, fresh. The trap door groaned, darkness spilling, not light but weight, pulling Riley's breath, her heat, herself. The girl reached, fingers bone, touching Riley's wrist, burning, leaving spirals, not scars but marks, alive, moving. Ava yanked her, breaking the grip, and the door gave, flying open, stairs clear. They ran, camera swinging, catching the girl, not chasing but standing, smiling as the house shook, walls weeping dust, whispering mine, mine. Riley's tires screeched, Savannah's lights blurring as they fled, Ava silent, shaking. They left the house but the cold clung, a shadow in their bones, fear they couldn't shake. Riley's wrist burned, spirals faint, pulsing under streetlights. Not Ava's, just hers. At home she scrubbed them, but they stayed, glowing faintly like eyes in the dark. The video, uploaded raw, showed the girl, clearer. Her face Riley's, not quite, watching, always watching. Comments exploded, fake, CGI, real. But Riley didn't read them, didn't sleep. Her apartment creaked, not settling but speaking, whispers nightly, "Stay." Ava moved out, no goodbye, her texts blank, like she carried nothing, like it chose Riley alone. Riley found the journal, hidden in her bag, not hers. Pages now blank but heavy, smelling of rot. A photo slipped out, her, not Savannah. A park. Years ago, a girl beside her, white dress blurred, smiling. She burned it, but her mirror fogged, not steam, showing not her but her, eyes black, hand raised, beckoning. Riley doesn't film now, doesn't trust cameras, mirrors, shadows. The house was empty, but something followed tied to her, not Ava, not the lens. She sees it. On streets, in dreams, a girl, not gone, waiting, knowing her name, her fears, her face. What do you do when a shadow picks you, and leaving only brings it home? The clock's tick echoed through the living room, louder than it should have been in my parents' suburban Denver home. At 19, I'd stayed behind while they vacationed, relishing the freedom of an empty house. I was home alone one night, just chilling. The TV droned, a sitcom's laugh track filling the quiet. But outside, dusk settled, painting the windows in heavy grays. Something felt wrong, like the house was too still. I shrugged it off, scrolling my phone, but the air shifted, cooler, as if the walls held their breath. I wandered to the kitchen for a soda, glancing out the back window. My heart skipped. There was a guy outside, wearing a black hoodie, standing by the fence. He didn't move, his hood up, face shadowed, but his presence screamed intent. The yard was dark, only streetlights glinting off wet grass, yet he stood out, too still, like a statue carved from night. I blinked, thinking it was a neighbor, but no one walked like that. No one stared like that. My phone buzzed, a motion sensor alert from our backyard camera, but the app showed static, then cut out. A faint scrape sounded, not wind but deliberate, like boots on gravel circling the house. This wasn't random. He was here for me, and the locks felt flimsy against that truth. I ducked from the window, pulse racing. He kept standing there, not moving, like he knew I saw him. The hoodie swallowed his shape, but his stillness wasn't human. It was predatory, patient. It scared me, like he was waiting for something. I grabbed a baseball bat from the closet, its weight grounding, and checked every lock, my hands trembling. The TV flickered, sitcom cutting to static, and my phone buzzed again. No alert, just a blank text from a local number. No name. Outside, the scrape returned, closer, now at the side gate. I looked again, and he was closer, by the shed now. He hadn't walked, just appeared, his hood lower, eyes glinting, not reflecting light but holding it pale and wrong. The air grew thick, smelling of damp earth and something sour, like rot creeping in. My lights dimmed, bulbs humming, and the mirror in the hall showed not me but a shadow, tall, hooded, moving when I stood still. I texted my friend Mia, but the message hung, unsent. My Wi-Fi dead. The scrape became a tap, rhythmic, on the back door, not asking but testing. He wasn't leaving. He was circling, and the house was no shield. I hid upstairs, lights off, bat clutched tight. He started moving around the house. I could hear him. Footsteps crunched, deliberate, tracing the walls, stopping at windows, testing frames. It was like he was hunting me, like he'd done this before. My room's curtain twitched, not wind, but a finger's brush, and through a crack I saw him. By the garage now, hood down, face blurred, too smooth like wax melting. His eyes burned, locking on mine, though I was hidden. The house groaned, pipes rattling, and my phone lit up. No signal, but photos loaded, not mine. The yard, my window, me sleeping, taken nights ago. I was terrified he'd get inside. It felt so real. I barricaded my door, dresser scraping, but the taps grew louder, now downstairs, then above, like he climbed the roof. A whisper slithered through the vents. My name, not loud, but intimate, knowing. The light surged, bulbs popping, and the mirror downstairs shattered, glass raining. Shadows danced, not cast but alive, pooling at my door. This wasn't a man. Something wore that hoodie, and it was peeling my home apart to reach me. Morning light crept in, weak but steady. The footsteps stopped, silence heavy. I called the police, but he was gone when they arrived. No prints, no tracks, just my back, gate unlatched, swaying. That night changed me. I don't stay home alone anymore. I crashed with Mia, then moved to a gated complex. But sleep evades me, my dreams tracing those eyes, glinting, endless. The cameras caught nothing, wiped clean, like he erased himself. I searched online. Others saw him, a hooded shape at night, vanishing, leaving scratches, photos, dread. They said something stalks here, something that doesn't leave. Neighborhood. Tales spoke of a watcher, not man but older, tied to forgotten graves nearby, seeking new homes. I still feel it sometimes, like it's waiting for me. My new place's lights flicker, and once my mailbox held a hoodie tag, black, with my initials stitched, not mine. I'll never feel safe at night again, but it knows where I am. The suburbs hum, but at dusk, a shadow lingers, patient, certain I'm marked. The clock's tick echoed through the living room, louder than it should have been in my parents' suburban Denver home. At 19, I'd stayed behind while they vacationed, relishing the freedom of an empty house. I was home alone one night, just chilling. The TV droned, a sitcom's laugh track filling the quiet. But outside, dusk settled, painting the windows in heavy grays. Something felt wrong, like the house was too still. I shrugged it off, scrolling my phone, but the air shifted, cooler, as if the walls held their breath. I wandered to the kitchen for a soda, glancing out the back window. My heart skipped. There was a guy outside, wearing a black hoodie, standing by the fence. He didn't move, his hood up, face shadowed, but his presence screamed intent. The yard was dark, only streetlights glinting off wet grass, yet he stood out, too still, like a statue carved from night. I blinked, thinking it was a neighbor, but no one walked like that. No one stared like that. My phone buzzed, a motion sensor alert from our backyard camera, but the app showed static, then cut out. A faint scrape sounded, not wind but deliberate, like boots on gravel circling the house. This wasn't random. He was here for me, and the locks felt flimsy against that truth. I ducked from the window, pulse racing. He kept standing there, not moving, like he knew I saw him. The hoodie swallowed his shape, but his stillness wasn't human. It was predatory, patient. It scared me, like he was waiting for something. I grabbed a baseball bat from the closet, its weight grounding, and checked every lock, my hands trembling. The TV flickered, sitcom cutting to static, and my phone buzzed again. No alert, just a blank text from a local number. No name. Outside, the scrape returned, closer, now at the side gate. I looked again, and he was closer, by the shed now. He hadn't walked, just appeared, his hood lower, eyes glinting, not reflecting light but holding it pale and wrong. The air grew thick, smelling of damp earth and something sour, like rot creeping in. My lights dimmed, bulbs humming, and the mirror in the hall showed not me but a shadow, tall, hooded, moving when I stood still. I texted my friend Mia, but the message hung, unsent. My Wi-Fi dead. The scrape became a tap, rhythmic, on the back door, not asking but testing. He wasn't leaving. He was circling, and the house was no shield. I hid upstairs, lights off, bat clutched tight. He started moving around the house. I could hear him. Footsteps crunched, deliberate, tracing the walls, stopping at windows, testing frames. It was like he was hunting me, like he'd done this before. My room's curtain twitched, not wind, but a finger's brush, and through a crack I saw him. By the garage now, hood down, face blurred, too smooth like wax melting. His eyes burned, locking on mine, though I was hidden. The house groaned, pipes rattling, and my phone lit up. No signal, but photos loaded, not mine. The yard, my window, me sleeping, taken nights ago. I was terrified he'd get inside. It felt so real. I barricaded my door, dresser scraping, but the taps grew louder, now downstairs, then above, like he climbed the roof. A whisper slithered through the vents. My name, not loud, but intimate, knowing. The light surged, bulbs popping, and the mirror downstairs shattered, glass raining. Shadows danced, not cast but alive, pooling at my door. This wasn't a man. Something wore that hoodie, and it was peeling my home apart to reach me. Morning light crept in, weak but steady. The footsteps stopped, silence heavy. I called the police, but he was gone when they arrived. No prints, no tracks, just my back, gate unlatched, swaying. That night changed me. I don't stay home alone anymore. I crashed with Mia, then moved to a gated complex. But sleep evades me, my dreams tracing those eyes, glinting, endless. The cameras caught nothing, wiped clean, like he erased himself. I searched online. Others saw him, a hooded shape at night, vanishing, leaving scratches, photos, dread. They said something stalks here, something that doesn't leave. Neighborhood. Tales spoke of a watcher, not man but older, tied to forgotten graves nearby, seeking new homes. I still feel it sometimes, like it's waiting for me. My new place's lights flicker, and once my mailbox held a hoodie tag, black, with my initials stitched, not mine. I'll never feel safe at night again, but it knows where I am. The suburbs hum, but at dusk, a shadow lingers, patient, certain I'm marked. Owen cataloged artifacts under flickering lights when papers scattered, untouched, whispering secrets not his. He was a night shift archivist at Philadelphia's Hartwell Museum, sorting relics in a basement vault. At 30, Owen loved history. Old, coins, chipped vases, but the job was a grind, CI nights to pay off loans, his eyes heavy by 2 a.m. The vault smelled of dust and time, its concrete walls thick, muffling the city above. But tonight, they seemed to hum, low, restless. Halfway, through a crate he saw a shadow dart, human-shaped, vanishing into the west wall. No sound, no trace. Owen froze, pen slipping, heart thudding. Cameras, he thought, but the vault's lens was blind, bulb cracked. "Lila?" he called, voice shaky, hoping his co-worker heard via radio. Static answered, then silence, her desk 2 floors up too, far. The air shifted, not cold yet, but wrong, like breath held too long. He stood, flashlight sweeping, catching shelves of boxes, a jade idol, a cracked urn. The papers lay strewn, not random. One sheet bore a sketch, not his, a figure, tall, cloaked, eyes blank. Owen's skin prickled. He'd sorted this crate yesterday. No sketch, no figure. His radio buzzed. Owen, not Lila. Soft, close, from the wall. He backed up, flashlight shaking, catching a mirror, old, propped against a shelf, its glass fogged, not reflecting him but something else, moving, waiting. Owen's flashlight trembled, pinned on the mirror, its fog swirling. Not him, not right. He heard his name again, a whisper, sharp, echoing from nowhere, chilling his spine. "Lila, you hearing this?" He hissed into the radio, but static roared, cutting off, leaving silence thicker than before. The vault's hum grew, not pipes, but deeper, like a pulse, shaking dust from shelves. He checked the wall, solid concrete, no cracks, no way a shadow slipped through. But his fingers brushed it, cold, wet, like sweat, not stone. He searched, Flashlight sweeping, finding nothing, no one, just crates and his own fear. A box tipped, slow, spilling letters yellowed, one unfolding, ink fresh. Owen, stay. His breath caught. He hadn't logged this, hadn't seen it, but it knew him, wanted him. The mirror flickered, now reflecting him, but off. His eyes too wide, his shadow too long, trailing where he didn't move. A tap came, soft from the wall, then louder, rhythmic, like knuckles, impatient. Owen backed away, tripping on a crate, an idol falling, jade eyes glinting, not carved but alive, watching. His radio crackled. Owen. Owen. Not one voice, many, layered, close, behind him. He spun, flashlight catching nothing, but the air tightened, heavy, smelling of ash and iron, like something woke, stepped closer, knowing his name, his steps, his sins. The vault shook, light strobing, and Owen's flashlight died, plunging him into dark, alive, breathing. The shadow appeared again, clearer, tall, cloaked, running at the wall, merging, gone, but its eyes lingered, fixed on him. The air froze, his breath frost, his skin burning, marked, like fingers pressed too tight. Owen! The whisper screamed, not one voice but a choir, tearing his ears, his mind. A crate burst, spilling relics, coins, bones, a locket, open, showing not a photo, but him, now, scared, trapped. The mirror cracked, glass bleeding light, showing. Not Owen but the shadow, stepping out, real, its cloak old, tattered, its face his, not his, smiling. The tapping roared, walls splitting, dust forming words. Mine, mine. And the locket burned his hand, spirals carving his palm, alive, crawling. Owen ran, shelves falling, relics flying, the shadows laugh chasing, not behind but inside, his pulse, his bones. The vault door loomed, locked, pulsing, but it gave, swinging wide, stairs clear. He climbed, the whisper following. Owen, stay. And the mirror's light flared, showing not the vault but a room. Endless, shadows waiting, calling, knowing him, always him. Owen stumbled into dawn, Philadelphia's noise no shield, his palm, still stinging, spirals faint, alive. He left the museum, shaken, sure the shadow knew him, haunted him. The locket somehow in his pocket, burned, its image now blank, but heavy, like eyes. Lila called. Nothing on cameras, no proof, just his fear. His apartment creaked, not pipes but steps, soft behind walls. He felt watched, marked, unable to shake the whisper, his name, always his. The mirror fogged, not steam, showing not him, but it cloaked, waiting. Owen doesn't sleep. Shadows move, call, know him always will. What do you do when your name opens a door and what answers never leaves? The moon hung low over our new home, a fixer-upper nestled in a sleepy Oregon town, its porch creaking under the weight of unpacked dreams. At 32, I shared this space with my wife, Lena, and our two kids, Emma and Liam, both under 10. We were settling into our new house. Everything seemed fine. The kids' laughter had filled the day, but now, past midnight, the house was still, save for the hum of crickets beyond the windows. Something felt off, like the air was too heavy. I lay awake, Lena's soft breathing beside me, when a sound pierced the quiet, a faint cry, like a child's, not loud, but raw, desperate. We heard a kid crying at night, but our kids were asleep. I checked Emma and Liam, both tucked in, faces calm, undisturbed. The cry came again, drifting from downstairs, not outside but inside, echoing in the hall. My pulse quickened, bare feet cold on the hardwood as I descended, flashlight in hand. The air grew sharp, tinged with damp earth, and the living room mirror reflected only darkness, not me. This wasn't a neighbor's kid or a stray sound. The house was awake, and it wasn't ours alone. The crying stopped as I reached the kitchen, but the silence was worse, thick with intent. The crying kept happening, always at night, always when we thought it was over. I flicked on the light, but it flickered, casting shadows that stretched too far, not ours. We checked, but there was no kid, just that sound. Lena joined me, her eyes wide, whispering about nightmares. But this wasn't a dream. A door creaked, the pantry, though no breeze stirred, and its handle rattled, slow, deliberate. I opened it, finding only cans, but the air inside was cold, heavy with that earthy scent now mixed with something sour like milk gone bad. Then we heard doors opening and closing, all over the house. The front door thudded, then the basement, not slammed but eased, as if someone tested each hinge. My flashlight caught a smudge on the floor, small footprints, not ours, fading at the stairs. Emma's teddy bear left on the couch sat upright now, its button eyes glinting, turned toward us. The crying resumed, softer, behind the walls, and my skin crawled. Not just fear, but a pull, like the house wanted us to listen. This wasn't a prank. Something shared our home, and it was calling. Nights blurred, sleep a distant memory. The crying got worse. It felt like it was inside the walls. It wasn't just a sound now. Sobs wove with whispers, no words, just grief, tugging at my chest. Doors kept moving, even when we locked them. We bolted every latch, but they'd creak, open, hinges groaning, leaving cold drafts. I taped the basement door, but the tape peeled, curling like it laughed, and Liam's drawings pinned to the fridge fell, scrawled with new lines, jagged, childlike, not his. The mirror in our bedroom fogged, showing shapes, small, blurred, reaching, gone when I blinked. Something was here, you could feel it watching. The earthy scent turned rancid, clinging to clothes, and Emma woke once, not crying but staring, saying, "She's sad," before sleep reclaimed her. I checked the attic, flashlight shaking, finding only dust and a photo, old, of a girl. Eyes, hollow, house ours but wrong, windows boarded. The crying surged, now above, below, everywhere, and the lights dimmed, bulbs humming a tune like a lullaby. Not ours. This wasn't a ghost story. Something lived here, and it was weaving itself into us. We fled at dawn, bags packed, kids confused. We left because it wouldn't stop. It was too much. A motel felt safer, its neon buzz a lifeline. That place changed us. We don't trust quiet houses anymore. I researched. Our home stood over an older one, burned decades ago. A girl lost, unnamed, her cries buried in ash. They said something stays there, something that cries. We sold the house, moved to a city flat, but the sound follows, faint at night, in dreams where doors creak. My keys, kept from that house, scratch themselves, lines like those drawings, and Emma hums that lullaby, not knowing why. I still hear, it's sometimes like it's calling me back. A letter came, no sender, with that girl's photo, her eyes now mine, watching. I'll never go back, but it knows where I am. The city's loud, but silence brings sobs, soft, patient, and I fear what lingers when the lights go out. The glow of my flashlight danced across the walls of our attic, where I'd snuck up to hunt for old comics, a secret adventure while Mom worked late. At 12, I lived in a creaky house on the edge of a small Maine town, the kind where streetlights flickered and fog clung to the pines. It was just a normal night, nothing weird until the phone rang. Mom, a nurse, had left me with a frozen pizza and a reminder to keep the doors locked. Something felt off when it kept ringing, like it wasn't normal. The attic smelled of dust and mildew, and the air felt tight, like it watched me rummage through boxes. The house phone downstairs shrilled, cutting through the quiet, relentless, not stopping after a few rings like usual. I climbed down, heart thumping, leaving my flashlight behind, its beam swallowed by shadows. Then it rang, and I answered, thinking it was Mom. A voice answered, warm, familiar, saying, "Hey, sweetie." My breath caught. It was Dad's voice, but Dad had died in a fire 3 years ago, his workshop gone with him. The voice said it was my dad, asking where I was. I froze, the receiver heavy, as it called me Starlight, his old nickname, and asked why I was upstairs. The air turned cold, carrying a faint whiff of smoke, like charred wood from his shop. My lamp flickered, shadows twisting into shapes, tall, vague, not mine. This wasn't a glitch or a prank. Something was using his voice, and it knew exactly where I stood. I stammered, "You're not Dad." But the voice stayed calm, unshaken. It kept talking, saying stuff only he'd know, like my nickname. It mentioned the comic we'd read together. The one with the astronaut hero, every detail perfect, like he was right there. I was scared. It didn't make sense. He couldn't call. My knees wobbled, the phone cord tangling as it asked again, "Where are you now, Starlight?" Not gentle but sharp, like it needed my answer to find me. The smoke scent thickened, stinging my eyes, and the lamp dimmed, its bulb buzzing like an angry wasp. I glanced at the windows, locked tight, but the curtains swayed, no breeze, and outside the fog seemed to pulse, hiding shapes that weren't trees. The floor creaked behind me, not my step, and my sketch pad, left on the table, fell open to a page I hadn't touched, a crude drawing of a man with no face, holding a phone, ink still wet. The voice got weird, asking why I was alone. It wasn't Dad's laugh now. A low rasp slipped in, greedy, cold. The line hissed, static forming words. Nearer now. And the back door's knob clicked, turning slow, deliberate. I yanked the phone from the wall, cord snapping, but the voice lingered, floating in the air. No line needed. My heart raced, not just fear but a pull, like it wanted me to answer, to invite it closer. This wasn't a call from nowhere. It was already in the house, circling me. The silence after was worse, heavy, like the air held its breath. I grabbed a kitchen knife, its blade catching the flickering light, and checked the doors. All locked, but the knob felt warm, like a hand had just left it. The calls kept coming, every night. Always him. I'd smashed the phone, but it rang, wireless now, screen dead, his voice clearer, reciting my dreams, the ones I'd whispered to Dad about stars and fear of the dark. It felt like he was in the house, like he was watching me. The smoke smell turned bitter, like ash and rust, seeping from the vents, and the lights pulsed, not random but timed, echoing his words. "Starlight, come see me." My mirror in the hall fogged, not steam but cold, showing eyes, not mine but Dad's, wide, unblinking, then gone. I screamed, the knife slipping, cutting my palm, blood dripping on the floor, and the drops moved, not pooling but trailing toward the basement door. I told Mom, but she didn't believe me, said it was grief. She called it stress, checked the lines, found nothing, but I saw her pause when the lights flickered, her hands shaking as she locked her room. My drawings multiplied, faceless men, phones, stars, all inked in lines I didn't draw, piling up under my bed. The voice grew bolder, chuckling, saying, "I'm here." As the basement door groaned, inching open, revealing stairs that smelled of ash. The windows rattled, not wind but intent, and my flashlight retrieved from the attic died, its beam swallowed by a shadow that wasn't there. This wasn't Dad's love. Something had stolen his voice, and it was carving a path to me. Nights became a blur, sleep stolen by that voice, now whispering through walls, not phones, reciting my fears, my secrets, my name in tones that curled like smoke. We left because it wouldn't stop, it was too much. Mom, pale, packed us up, and we fled to a cousin's apartment in Boston, all concrete and noise, no attics, no landlines. That voice changed me. I don't answer phones anymore. I keep my curtains drawn, check shadows twice, but dreams drag. Be back to that house. Dad's voice twisting into a rasp, stars falling, not shining. They said, something uses voices, something that hunts. Locals talked of a fire long ago. A man lost. Not Dad, but another. Tied to that land, borrowing voices to lure, never resting. My comics boxed away, open at night, pages marked with ash. New panels, of me, running, chased by eyes in fog. I still hear it sometimes, like it's looking for me. A text came once, no sender, just starlight, with a photo of our old porch, empty, but the fog shaped a man, phone in hand. I'll never go back, but it knows where I am. The city's loud, but at night a hum rises. Not traffic, but him, patient, waiting for my voice to answer. Harper sipped the drink, its bitter edge cutting through Austin's neon buzz, waking her instincts too late. She was at a bar on 6th Street, new to the city, when a man, Gavin, invited her to his place after last call. At 26, Harper, a bank teller chasing a fresh start, craved connection, and Gavin, tall, sharp smile, easy charm, seemed safe, his laugh blending with the crowds. Tessa, her co-worker, had left early texting, "You good to stay?" Harper nodded, phone dim. The bar's pulse loud, drowning doubt. Gavin's offer felt warm, casual, just a nightcap at his apartment nearby. Austin's streets glowed, music spilling, but his car turned to quieter blocks, houses dark, air still. Harper's gut twitched, too fast, too far, but she brushed it off, blaming nerves, city newness. His place loomed, modern, cold, glass walls reflecting her, not right, eyes too wide in the dark. "Nice spot," she said, voice thin, his nod sharp, eyes not blinking, fixed on her. Inside, the air stung, clean, chemical, not homey, and a photo hung, Gavin, others, all smiling, same smile, no warmth. Harper's phone buzzed, no signal. Tessa's text stuck, unsent. He handed her a glass, clear, sparkling, said, "Relax." But the taste hit, bitter, metallic, like coins, not soda. Her head spun, lights blurring, his voice distant. "You'll like it here." Harper gripped the counter, heart racing, seeing glitter in the drink, not bubbles, sinking slow, wrong, her skin cold, his hand too close. The room tilting, whispering her name, not his voice, not hers. Harper's vision swam, the glass heavy, its glitter settling. Not right, not soda. The drink tasted off, sharp, and her head fogged, limbs slow like drowning in air. She set it down, hand shaking. Gavin's smile fixed, too wide, his eyes flat, no light. "You okay?" he asked, voice smooth, but his fingers brushed her wrist, cold, lingering, like he owned her pulse, She pulled back, stomach twisting, the room too bright, lamps flickering, not steady, like her breath. Bathroom, Harper mumbled, standing, legs soft, catching a mirror. Her face, pale, but behind, a shadow, not Gavin, not her, tall, gone fast. She felt dizzy, sure now. Something was in the drink, pulling her under. She stumbled to the sink, splashing water, cold biting, waking her, but the faucet dripped red, not rust, thick, smelling of iron. Her phone dead, buzzed once, screen, black. A voice, Harper, soft. From nowhere, not his. Gavin knocked. Everything good? Too close, door creaking, not locked. Harper's eyes caught a shelf, jars, small, powder glinting like her drink, labeled nothing, but wrong, alive. A photo fell, not hung, Gavin. Others, eyes scratched, hers not, staring. Her chest tightened. She'd told no one his address. Tessa gone, no one knew. The mirror fogged, not steam, showing her, asleep, not now, not here. A hand over her, his, not his, fingers long, too many. She turned, Gavin there, door open, smile gone. You should sit, voice low, not asking. The air shifted, heavy, chemical, and the lights dimmed. A hum rising, not AC but deeper, like a trap, like him, waiting, knowing her, not letting go. Harper's knees buckled, Gavin's hand on her arm, tight, pulling her toward a hallway. Dark, wrong. He pushed her toward a room, his grip iron, but she fought, shoving him, breaking free, running. Her head spun, drug heavy, but fear burned, sharp. Her feet hitting wood, slipping, catching a door frame, not looking back. His voice chased. Harper, not warm, not human, layered, like the whisper, like the house, alive, angry. She hit the living room, door locked, chain on, her fingers fumbling, nails breaking, his steps close, slow, sure. She'd suspected poison. Now she knew. His eyes weren't his, not anymore, fixed on her, empty. A lamp crashed, not her, not him, falling, sparking, and the mirror shattered, glass screaming, showing her running, him, not him, behind, smiling, teeth wrong, too many. Harper yanked the chain, door stuck, air thick, chemical, choking, and her phone buzzed, a live recording. Stay, Harper, his voice, not spoken, not now. She kicked, door giving, night air hitting, cold, real. But his hand grazed her jacket, tearing, not letting go. Harper ran, street empty, lights far, her breath frost, not June, not right. A book fell from her bag, not hers, old, pages open, photos, her, not tonight, asleep, watched, dated years ago. Impossible. The house hummed, lights flaring, windows, fogging, not empty, not his, but something, someone, calling her, knowing her, always her. She flagged a car, stranger's eyes wide, driving her away. Gavin's silhouette still, not chasing, smiling, like he'd won. Her wrist burned, not bruised but marked, spirals, faint, alive, moving. Not hers, not now, but his, theirs. Harper's apartment felt wrong. Austin's hum no comfort. Her wrist still stinging, spirals glowing under moonlight, not fading. She checked her phone later, finding a text from Gavin's number, words she didn't understand. Sent before they'd met. They'd met chilling her. You're home now. Not English, not right, with a photo. Her, asleep. Not tonight. Not her bed. Eyes open. Watching. She'd blocked him. No number saved. No way he had hers. But it came. Again. Harper. From nowhere. From him? Not him. Tessa called, voice shaky. "You okay?" But Harper lied. "Fine." Seeing news. Missing women. Austin. Faces like hers. Gone near his street. No trace. The book, not hers, stayed. Pages blank now, but heavy, smelling of ash not paper. Her mirror fogged, not steam, showing not her but a room. His, not his. Shadows moving, smiling. Hers, not hers. Harper doesn't go out now. Doesn't trust bars, lights, eyes. She'd escaped, but something lingered, tied to her. Not the night, not Gavin, but deeper. Her door creaks, not wind. Her breath catches, not cold, but it. Whispering home, knowing her, always her. What do you do when a stranger's face isn't his, and running only brings him closer? The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I pushed my cart through the near-empty grocery store, the only one open late in our small Ohio town. At 23, I'd swung by after a long shift at the library, craving snacks to unwind. I was just shopping for groceries, nothing special. The aisles stretched long, lined with cans and boxes, but the air felt off, too still, like the store held its breath. Something didn't feel right, like I wasn't alone. I grabbed chips, humming softly, when a chill ran down my neck. I noticed a guy watching me standing too close. He stood at the aisle's end, tall in a gray coat, his eyes fixed on me, not browsing, just staring, unblinking. My cart's wheels squeaked, louder in the quiet, and he shifted, mirroring my step. His boots silent on the tiles. The store's music, a faint pop tune, crackled, cutting to static, and the lights flickered just once, casting his shadow long, jagged. I quickened my pace, heart thumping, but his gaze clung, heavy, like it knew me. This wasn't a coincidence. He was here for me, and the store felt smaller, closing in. I turned into the cereal aisle, hoping to lose him, but the feeling grew heavier. He followed me, always a few steps behind. His coat rustled, faint but deliberate, and when I glanced back, he was there, closer, his eyes still locked, now gleaming under the lights. Too pale, like they held no depth. It felt dangerous, like he wanted something bad. My hands tightened on the cart, knuckles white, as the air grew sharp, tinged with a sour scent. Not food, but something old, like damp cloth left to rot. The shelves seemed to lean, boxes blurring, and my phone in my pocket vibrated. No signal, just a blank notification, then another saying, "Look back." I didn't, but his steps matched mine, slow, measured, never rushing, like he savored the chase. I tried to act normal, but I was scared. A can fell behind me, not touched, rolling toward his feet, and he stopped it with his boot, not looking, down, only at me. The overhead speaker hummed, not music but a low drone, and my cart's wheel jammed, forcing me to pause. He was closer now, his shadow stretching over mine, cold, wrong. This wasn't just a creep. He was hunting, and I was running out of aisles. I darted toward the checkout, heart pounding, but the store felt wrong, aisles looping, signs twisting to point back. He kept showing up, no matter where I went. He appeared at every turn, not running, just there, his coat now open, revealing a shirt stained not with dirt but something darker, wet. I knew he wasn't normal. Something was off about him. My breath hitched as the lights dimmed, flickering in sync with his steps, and the sour scent turned metallic, like blood on old coins, clogging my lungs. A mirror by the produce reflected, not me but him, standing still. though he was behind me, his eyes boring through the glass, unblinking. I felt like he'd hurt me if I didn't get out. My cart tipped, spilling chips, and the floor seemed to tilt, guiding me toward him, not the exit. The cashier station was empty, lights off, and my phone buzzed again. Stay. I sprinted, shoes slipping, but his shadow grew, not cast but alive, curling around corners. The drone became a whisper, my name, not from him, but the air, the store itself. This wasn't a man. The store was his, and I was caught in its grip. I bolted for the doors, glass smudged, reflecting nothing but dark. I got out, ran to my car, and never saw him again. My keys shook, engine roaring as I sped home, the store's lights fading in my mirror, but my pulse didn't slow. That night changed me. I don't shop alone anymore. I moved to a city, busier, safer, but I scan every crowd expecting his eyes, pale, waiting. The store's cameras, I learned, caught no one, just me, walking alone, aisles empty, online. Others shared tales, men in stores, not men, trailing, vanishing, leaving dread. They said something follows, something that picks you. Town records hinted at a drifter decades back, lost in that lot, never found, his shadow lingering. I still feel it sometimes, like it's watching me. My keys from that night have scratches now, not mine, forming shapes, eyes maybe. I'll never go back, but it knows where I am. The city hums, but at night a cart squeaks in my dreams, and I fear what follows when lights flicker. Dylan's boots crunched Banger's gravel, moonlight catching something wet, wrong, a cat's head staring back. He was walking home late, cutting through a quiet stretch, when he saw the severed cat's head, blood fresh, pooling. At 29, Dylan, a mechanic new to this main town, knew its rumors, pets vanishing, woods alive, but this hit different. Deliberate, placed on stones, a circle, eyes open, fixed on him. His breath caught, flashlight shaking, beam catching fur, bone, no body, no tracks, just blood, too red, too new. The air chilled, swoo curling, Banger's pines whispering, not wind, but weight, like eyes. A man stepped from the bushes, strange, silent, his eyes unblinking, locked on Dylan. No words. He wasn't right. Tall, pale, coat torn, hands twitching, smelling of dirt, not sweat, not human. Dylan's gut screamed run, but his legs froze. The man's stare heavy, knowing like he'd waited, like he'd carved that circle, that head for him. Dylan! The man rasped, voice low, not matching his lips. From the dark, from nowhere. Dylan hadn't said his name. Not here, not ever. But it hung, sharp, cutting his skin. His flashlight flickered, catching the man's face. Eyes sunken, not blinking, smiling. No warmth, no life. A bone cracked under Dylan's boot. Not his. Small, scattered, circling the stones, spelling something, not random. D. His phone buzzed, no signal, screen glitching, showing not stars but eyes, cat's eyes, his eyes, watching, always watching. Dylan's flashlight died, dark rushing in, the man's stare a weight, pinning him. He backed away, heart slamming, feeling watched, followed, the man's gaze burning his back. The head stayed, eyes glinting, not dead, not right. Blood spreading, not pooling, tracing lines. A spiral, his name, Dylan, wet, alive. He stumbled, gravel biting, pines closing, swoo thick, not natural, curling like hands, holding him, knowing him. Ellie's voice rang, her call yesterday. Dylan, stay out of those woods. She'd heard things. Cats gone, dogs too, shadows, moving. Not coyotes, not men. He'd laughed, city habits, but now, a paper caught his boot. Not trash, old, ink fresh. Dylan, come, not his, not here. The man didn't move, didn't chase, but his whisper grew. Dylan, from the trees, the ground, the head, layered. Not one voice, not his. A mirror lay, cracked, half buried, not random, reflecting not sky but him, running. Not now, not here. The man behind smiling, teeth sharp. Too many. Dylan's throat closed. He'd fixed Ellie's car, heard her stories, missing hikers, bones found, no names. The S-woo parted, showing bones. Small, not cat, circling him, spelling stay. His phone buzzed, dead, but words typed, home, not his, not safe. The man stepped, closer, silent, coat dragging, dirt falling, not mud but ash, smelling of graves, not earth. Dylan ran, not looking, not breathing. The whisper chasing. Dylan, mine. Not behind but inside. His pulse, his fear, tying him, not to the road, but deeper, older, always there. Dylan's feet pounded, bangers rode endless. The man's whisper, a blade cutting air, cutting him. He ran home, lungs burning, sure something trailed, its eyes never leaving. The head stare burned, not gone, not dead, following. And the man moved. Fast, not running, gliding. Coat flapping, not cloth but wings, not his, not human. Dylan's house loomed, porch dark, key shaking, door stuck, pulsing, like it knew. Inside, lights flickered, not power, not normal. Shadows dancing, not his, not safe. The mirror, Ellie's, old, cracked, glass bleeding, showing not him but the road, him running, the man closer, smiling, eyes cat's eyes, slit, alive. A bone fell, not his, from nowhere, small, carved Dylan, and the swoo seeped under doors through walls, spelling mine, not air, not fog, but it, him, them. The man's voice roared. Dylan, not outside, inside, his skull, his blood, and the EI. Floor creaked, not wood, not house, but steps. Slow, sure, upstairs, not empty. Dylan grabbed a knife, useless, shaking, seeing bones, more, circling. Not cat, not animal, human, small, too small. The mirror flared, showing not banger but woods, endless faces, not faces watching, calling his name, always his. He bolted, door giving, night cold, but the whisper clung, home, and the swoo shaped him, not him, running, falling, caught. His phone buzzed alive, photo, him now, porch not taken, not his, the man behind smiling, not smiling, knowing, always knowing. Dylan crashed at Ellie's, bangers dawn, no shield, his hands still shaking, bones in his dreams, not dreams. He never walked at night again, haunted by the man, the head, the eyes that knew him. His porch light burned, swoo lingered, not fog, not gone, whispering Dylan, soft, close, from mirrors, from dark. Ellie searched, news, old, pets gone, hikers, too, woods alive, no bodies, just bones, small, carved. His phone kept photos, not his, him, watched. The man's face, not face, shifting, hers, theirs. The mirror stayed, cracked, showing not him but woods, eyes, cats, his, waiting. Dylan doesn't fix cars now, doesn't trust roads, pines, night. Something followed, tied to him, not the head, not the man, but deeper. His breath fogs, not cold, but it, calling, knowing him, always him. What do you do when eyes find you, and home isn't yours anymore? The gravel crunched under our truck's tires as Dad pulled up to the old Juke farmstead, a sagging house in the heart of Kentucky's rolling fields. I was 10, tagging along to help Dad check the place, a favor for a friend selling it. We went to an old house on a farm, just me and Dad. The sun hung low, painting the porch in shadows, and the air felt thick, like it clung to my skin. Something felt wrong as soon as we got there. I grabbed my flashlight, its beam weak against the dusk, and followed Dad to the door, boards creaking underfoot. The windows stared, dark and empty, and a faint smell, like wet earth and rust, drifted out. My stomach twisted, not hunger but dread, and Dad's hand tightened on his toolbox, his jaw set. This wasn't just an old house. It was waiting for us. Inside, the air was colder, heavy with that rust and earth scent, and the floor groaned. Not just old wood, but alive. We both got scared, like something bad was watching us. Dad's flashlight flickered, catching dust motes that swirled, not random but circling us, slow, deliberate. The house felt alive, like it hated us being there. I clutched my light, its beam catching a mirror. Cracked, showing not us but shadows, tall, bending wrong. A creak came from upstairs, not steps, but a drag, heavy, intentional. My chest tightened, breath short, and Dad whispered to stay close, his voice shaky, not his usual calm. The walls seemed to lean, closing in, and my sneakers stuck, like the floor pulled me down. A low hum started, not mechanical, but deep, from the house itself, vibrating my bones. This wasn't rot or ruin. Something lived here, and it knew we'd come. We edged toward the kitchen, Dad's hand on my shoulder, but the hum grew, now a growl, shaking the boards. We knew something evil was in that house. It wasn't just a feeling. A door slammed upstairs, not wind but force, and my flashlight died, plunging us into dark, save for Dad's beam. Trembling, it was like the house wanted us to stay. The air turned sour, like rot and blood, and shadows moved, not ours, pooling in corners, eyes glinting, not human. My cap, snug before, fell, rolling toward a cellar door, ajar, exhaling cold. Dad pulled me back, his face pale, and a whisper came. Not words, but our names, sharp, from nowhere. The mirror reflected fire, brief, gone, but the smell lingered, ash now. We weren't alone. Something wasn't just here. It owned this place, and we were trespassers in its trap. We bolted, feet pounding, the house groaning like it chased us. We got out, but it changed us. We don't talk about it. Dad's truck roared to life. Tires, spitting gravel as we fled, the farmstead shrinking, but its weight clung. That place is still there, waiting for someone else. I avoid fields now, stick to town, but dreams pull me back, the hum in my ears, Dad's face pale. Locals whisper of Juke's curse, a tenant not man, bound to the land, hating guests. I still feel it sometimes, like it's watching me. My flashlight left behind showed up at home, lens scratched with lines. Not random, but eyes. I'll never go back, but it knows where I am. Town's safe. But at night, a creak echoes. Not wood, but intent, and I fear what waits in empty houses. Avery paused her brush when the window hummed. A tap too soft, breath fogging glass, not hers. She was alone in her Boise, Idaho house, painting late, when she saw them. Kids outside, eyes black, no whites, staring through the pane. At 34, Avery, a freelance artist, had bought this old place cheap, chasing quiet, chasing ghosts of her sister gone years ago. The house creaked, rural air thick, sawoo curling beyond the pines, but that tap, deliberate, not wind, woke her, sharp, like a warning. Their eyes locked on her, unblinking, faces pale, too still, like dolls, whispering something she couldn't hear. Avery froze, canvas wet, paint dripping, heart loud, her phone dark, no bars, Leo's last call. "You sure about that house?" Echoing, useless now. The kids, 3, maybe 4, didn't move, didn't knock, just stood, hands pressed, leaving smudges, black, not dirt, oozing, sinking into glass, spelling look. Her throat dried. She'd read stories, black-eyed kids, myths, not real. But their stare wasn't myth, wasn't empty. It knew her, her name, her grief. She stepped back, floor cold, the window rattling, not wind, not them, but inside, like the house answered. A mirror hung, old, cellar's trash, fogging, not reflecting her but them, closer, mouths open, no sound, pointing, not at her, at the hall, the dark, the ham. Avery's breath hitched. She'd locked every door, checked every latch, but a smell hit. Ash, not fire, not hers. From below, from deep. Her canvas fell, paint pooling, not red but black, eyes forming, theirs, hers, watching. Leo's voice broke her. Voicemail, old, looping. "Avery, you're scaring me. Lock the doors." But the phone buzzed, alive, typing inside. Not her, not Leo, from them, from it. The kids moved, slow, circling, smudges spreading. Look, look, and the mirror cracked, glass bending, showing not her house, but rooms. Endless, shadows shifting. Not kids, not human. Waiting, calling her. Always her. Avery's hands shook, the mirror's crack spreading. Look burning her eyes. The kid smudges alive, moving. She felt it then. They weren't the danger, but warning her, pointing inside to something worse, hidden in her house. Their faces pressed glass, mouths map May, not words but her name. Avery, soft, from nowhere, from walls, from below. She backed away, paintbrush falling, canvas now black, eyes bleeding, not paint, not hers. Staring, knowing her, tying her. The smell grew. Ash, rot, not pipes, not old wood, but alive, crawling. From the ham door, ajar, not locked, not her. She heard it. Scratches, low hums, not pipes coming from deep like breath. Waiting. Avery grabbed her phone, dead but buzzing. Screen showing not her but them. Kids, pointing, hall reflected. Dark, a shape, not her. Tall, wrong. Leo's voice again. Voicemail. "Avery, check the ham. It's not safe." Old, impossible. He'd never said it, but it played, looped. Theirs, not his. She crept to the hall, flashlight weak, beam catching dust, not falling, shaping hands, faces, gone fast. The ham door creaked, open wider, steps down, black, smelling of ash, of blood. Not hers, not now. A box lay, not hers, wood carved, eyes etched open, spilling papers. Leave Avery, ink-wet photos. Not her family but her here now, watched, smiling, not smiling. Her chest tightened. She'd moved in alone. No history. But the house knew, kept, waited. The kids tapped, louder, glass shaking, smudges spelling now, pointing down. mouths wide, no teeth, no sound, but her name roared, inside, her skull, her bones. The mirror flared, showing not kids but her, older, not her, eyes black, pointing back, at her, at it, inside, always inside. Avery's flashlight died, dark rushing, and the ham hummed, not empty, not silent, but calling, knowing her, her. Fear, her blood, her end. Avery's feet froze, the ham door gaping, its hum a pulse, not house, not hers, alive. She checked the house, heart pounding, finding signs. Doors ajar, smells wrong, things moved, not by her. The kids tapped, frantic, glass cracking, smudges bleeding. Now, pointing down, eyes blacker, faces hers, not hers, screaming, no. Sound, but her name tore through, not theirs, not kids from below, from it. She stepped down, ham cold, air thick, ash choking, flashlight flickering, catching walls, scratched. Avery, not old, not dust, fresh, wet, red. The ham wasn't empty. Boxes shifted, shadows danced, a hum grew. Not hers, not human. A mirror stood, not hers. Reflecting not her, but them. Kids, not kids. Eyes endless, mouths open, showing her, trapped. Not now, not here, but soon, too soon. The box spilled more. Photos, her not taken. Eyes black, hands carved. Stay, ink moving, alive. The hum roared, lights bursting, glass raining, and the mirror cracked. Showing not ham, but rooms, endless, faces, hers, theirs, not theirs, smiling, no teeth, no life. A hand grazed her, not kid, not human, cold, bone, pulling, whispering Avery, home, not voice, not sound, but her, inside, her fear, her end. She ran, stairs buckling, ham shaking, boxes falling, photos burning. Her face not her, eyes black, watching, always watching. The kids were gone, window empty, smudges gone. But the house answered, doors slamming, walls bleeding. Avery, not kids, not them, but it, here, now, hers. Her canvas upstairs changed, eyes black, hers, not paint, alive, moving, spelling home, not house, not Boise, but deeper, older, theirs. The mirror flared, showing her, running, not her, caught, not now, but soon, too soon, always hers. Avery stumbled into Boise's dawn, air cold, no shield, her hands stained, not paint, not hers. Alive. She left the house, never returning. Sure something waited, not the kids, but inside, always inside. Her car shook, mirrors fogging, not steam, showing not her but them, eyes black pointing back at her, at it, not gone, not ever. Leo met her, eyes wide. Avery, what happened? But she didn't speak, couldn't. Seeing smudges, not dirt on her skin, spelling home, not hers, not now, but theirs. She crashed at Leo's, couch hard, Boise's hum wrong, her dreams filled. Kids, not kids, eyes endless, house endless, her, not her, trapped, smiling, no teeth. It wasn't over. The kids warned, but the danger stayed, tied to her. Not the house, but deeper. A box arrived, not mailed, hers. From ham, open, photos, her. Not her. Eyes black, dated years ago. Impossible. Alive. Leo burned it, smoke curling, spelling Avery, not ash, not gone. But them. Here. Now. She searched. Boise's news, old. Kids gone, not found, household, Owners lost. No names. Just shadows. Just eyes. Her phone buzzed. Dead, but alive, typing. Home? Not her. Not Leo. Showing her. Asleep. Not now. Not here. Watched. Always watched. The mirror at Leo's cracked, not touched, showing not her but rooms. Endless. Kids. Not kids. Waiting. Calling her. Her name. Her blood. Her end. Avery doesn't paint now. Doesn't trust glass. Dark. Quiet. Her breath fogs. Not cold. But them. Whispering Avery. Not gone. Not hers. But home. Always home. She sees them. Street lights flicker. Shadows shift. Eyes black. Hers. Not hers. Pointing. Not away. Not out. But in. Always in. What do you do when kids warn you? But the dangers. You and home's not home anymore? That final story fades, but the unease lingers, doesn't it? These 15 glimpses into the unknown aren't just stories. They're warnings, etched in fear and mystery. Was that head placed for him, or something older? Do those kids watch, or beckon? The truth hides in the corners we avoid, and we're not done chasing it. If tonight's tales made you pause at creeks or rethink lonely walks, you're not alone. More waits, secrets in attics, shadows that know you. Stick with me for the next dive, where we'll face new truths, from murmurs in walls to faces that shouldn't be. Drop your thoughts, what's kept you up at night, and hit follow to catch what's coming. The dark's still talking. Will you listen?